Hi Joey, how's it going? My name's Robbie Konechny.
My name's Edward Lee.
We're students at Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Prescott, Arizona. We're kind of the fish dudes. Yeah, everyone knows us here as that. And we just want to enter this video here on our new channel, Poor Man's Aquatics. For a chance to go to Aquashella this March. So we're gonna show you my setup tonight in my room. Don't tell anyone because I have more gallons than I'm supposed to,
so
according to Paul. Yeah.
We're not supposed to have that many,
but it's temporary, so it's fine.
Temporary.
So without further ado, without further ado, I want to show you this section of my room. The rest of it is a big mess, and how it was inspired by you. I call it my mini gallery. I'm a resident assistant, so I have a lot more furniture to play around with. So I've lofted this bed. I have 2 dressers, and I have a tank on each one, and something in between. So I want to start with my 10-gallon. So this actually was given to me by a friend. So this is actually a turtle filter on here, which I absolutely love. It does an incredible job. What I have in here is a couple platies that I've adopted, this yellow one and this blue one here. These other smaller ones, my girlfriend actually loves to go to the pet store and get fry. There's also a baby Dalmatian Molly back there, and I have a baby female betta fish hanging out right here by my snail. She loves the fry, and they're free, so I'm like, yeah, cool, let's get them. And it's a lot of fun to watch them grow. And these these ones I've had for about 3 months now. These orange ones back here, she calls them Law and Order, and their colors really just started to come out. They're doing awesome. I've also got 2 ghost shrimp and a cherry shrimp on a piece of wood. A couple live plants that I trim out of Ed's tank and put them in mine when I babysit his. That's how I get my free plants, by my trimming service. I've got a shop light on here that I got for $14 at Home Depot, inspired by your shop lights. So we got that going for us. But anyway, that's a 10-gallon. Sand on the bottom. I've got these like ice cream cone snails that dig into the sand and churn everything up. They do an awesome job at helping the plants get nutrients and keeping a lot of things from building up on the surface. But yeah, I absolutely love these little platies. They're just cute and easy for someone being in college. They're pretty hardy. They're not super high maintenance, but the reason I started to stick with the fish hobby, I grew up doing some stuff with fish tanks. I had a community tank in my room. Me and my dad had a saltwater tank for a little bit, until Mom told us we had to get rid of it. And then it's being in college, it's something I can come home at 10 o'clock at night and I can do a quick water change and clean some algae. So I've really started to fall in love with this hobby again. Another fish I have in here that I forgot to mention is my Chinese algae eater. He's sleeping behind the filter. He's the only one that is smart enough. If I turn on the light at night, he'll still stay here. This is where he sleeps. I'm blown away, but these guys, I know when they get big, they can get really aggressive, and so he's getting into that adolescent stage. But I've kept him from getting too aggressive because he'll actually eat these snails. He'll flip them over and suck them out of the shell. And so he's kept off the slime coat of all these guys, and he hasn't been too much trouble. So it's been great. Now this young lady here that I adopted from a friend, one of my older platies that died recently, they had some babies together, which are down here. I call this my nursery. I knew I couldn't grow 30 platyfry in a 10-gallon tank that's already established with all of these guys. It would be way too overstocked. So I put them all in this storage bucket that I had, which was inspired by your killifish thing when you were going to grow those in that storage bin. She had like 4 more that are in this this fry basket here. This filter is actually, I'm embarrassed to say, it's a Walmart filter, but it broke on a friend of mine, and I put it in here. The way that I enhance it is I hot rod a lot of my filters with this aquaponic clay, because it's got some holes in there. The bacteria can keep hold. It's a great biological media. I originally tried to use it as plant fertilizer, but a lot of it floats. I've got 2 plants in there, and some just rocks and fake plants for them to kind of swim around in. They're all not really coming out, but they've been growing pretty well. They're all healthy, all of these guys. They're doing a great job. So next is my 5-gallon hex. The lid on this is actually for a 10-gallon hex because when I got this, it didn't have a lid. Someone gave this to me. A lot of my tanks people just gave to me because they know I like fish. But right now, I was using this most recently to purify water. Right now, I'm using it to quarantine and gut load some feeder minnows for those Oscars I was talking about a little bit ago, because since I've moved them up here about a week ago, it's been really hard to get them to eat their normal pellet diet. So I was like, okay, I'm going to follow your wisdom with the peacock bass. I'm going to get some of these guys, chalk them up on vegetables and protein, mostly algae, spirulina wafers, and some shrimp wafers, brine shrimp. Cucumbers, I've actually found fish love cucumbers, broccoli tops. They just go nuts. Peas, to get them those veggies that they need. And then those nutrients will transfer into my big boys, which are at, my friend's house because I'm not allowed to have them here. So that's about it. There's one more thing I wanted to show you. I call this the poor man's CO2 treatment. What I'll actually do is I'll put baking soda and vinegar in a 2-liter soda bottle, after I've rinsed it and cleaned it properly. I'll let the pressure build up, and then I'll put this end on a sponge and under a rock, and I'll put it in this tank, and just kind of let the CO2 seep out into the tank and diffuse to get some CO2 in these plants. And it's actually worked really well. This one went through a huge growth spurt when I did 3 treatments in like a week. So this was inspired by your do-it-yourself setup with the citric acid and the baking soda, I think it was, with the gauge. But I was like, I can't get a gauge, and I couldn't find citric acid at the store, believe it or not. So I was like, vinegar and baking soda. I probably have a really low yield, but it's pretty great. So like I said, Ed and I, we would be super stoked to go to Aquashella in March. He's a little bit shy.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to show you my setup. I wanted to say thank you for putting out your videos and inspiring people like me who, even though we think, we can't do much in the hobby for, whatever reason, where there's a will, there's a way. So thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Joey.
Thanks, Ed.